The evolution of type design from the Victorian era to the digital age. The evolution of typography has shaped the appearance of aspects of the arts, commerce, and industry throughout the history of graphic design. Here is a brief look at that evolution, a curated peek at type from different countries through different periods. Pre-modern, Victorian England. During the Victorian era, a unique style of English ornamented letter design emerged. Type foundry employees released types that were more exaggerated in shape and had decorative elements such as arabesque patterns, outlines, shadows, and ornaments. Pre-modern, Victorian United States. In the late 19th century, many small type foundries in the US turned into large conglomerates separated by region. All of America's commercial job printers used these foundries and were influenced by their outlandish display typefaces, some of which were swooping but jovial and even clumsy forms, alongside bold faces and ornamented serifs. They were effective at grabbing people's attention. Pre-modern, arts and crafts, Germany. During the arts and crafts movement, Germany was creating type with similar aesthetics. There was a lot of brush and woodcut lettering, much of it being hand-lettered and then cut as faces afterward. There was a strong push in Germany for both embracing Gothic tradition and reviving Italian-style typefaces, as well as embracing new styles of decorative type. There remained a strong push for balance and symmetry. Pre-modern, Art Nouveau, France. While Paris is often credited as being the birthplace of Art Nouveau, the truth is this movement was happening simultaneously all across Europe. French Art Nouveau initially changed the look and manufacturing of furniture and textiles before it influenced the graphic design associated with printing. But the vibrant and eccentric posters that appeared all across Paris in the late 19th century soon had type foundries manufacturing complete typefaces for commercial use, based on the letters created by those poster designers. Pre-modern, Art Nouveau, the Netherlands. The Netherlands made a significant contribution to type and graphic design during the Art Nouveau period. Their designers were influenced by post-impressionism and the Japanese woodblock print. They created typefaces with clearly defined geometric planes and a degree of symmetry, amidst the curvilinear design motifs more common with the period. In a sense, they strove to create some order out of the chaos that was the Art Nouveau movement. Sock plakat. At the beginning of the 20th century, graphic design began the first of many major shifts. Advances in technology led to mass communication, resulting in more consumer-driven approaches to design due to booming advertising becoming a large cultural force. A new advertising style was needed to simplify, clarify, and distinguish. This majorly affected typography, as the type that came out of Art Nouveau now seemed to be too much clutter. A new minimalist poster genre emerged in Germany called Sock plakat. Bold lines of type and block letters joined a product and a logo to create a minimal, clear selling message in advertising. Avantgarde Modern, Futurism, Italy. After World War I, modernism emerged. A utopian view held that art was not for the elite, but a utilitarian product for the masses. F.T. Marinetti began an activist art movement rooted in individual liberties being the key to creative expression, called Futurism. It was largely based in free verse, putting images and sound together in motion. Graphic designers aimed to create type that showed motion and speed. Benito Mussolini became very inspired by these visuals, and soon the fascists were borrowing from Futurism to adopt a new style of commercial art found on propaganda posters and advertising during the first decade of the regime. Kinetic-looking, often technically drawn typefaces, sometimes shaded and with pointed ascenders and descenders, gave the illusion of speed in the work. Commercial Modern, France. Art Moderne The commercial phase of modernism was born in France prior to World War I, but was largely interrupted by the war, not gaining traction in most advertising until 1925. Type designers leaned toward straighter lines and also drew inspiration from ancient Egyptian, Mayan, and Oriental motifs. Advertising agencies and type shows grew considerably during this time, and style books were published to encourage the adoption of this new art moderne style. Late modern, United States. Modernism arrived in the United States via Europe, through foreign trade publications and immigrant designers fleeing war and oppression. In the States, modernism was not taught as it was in Europe, and designers like Lester Beale, Will Burton, Bradbury Thompson, and Paul Rand drew their own inspirations that came into play to help form American late modernism from the 40s through the 70s. 6 key principles of American modern typography arose: the use of texture, juxtaposition of unrelated techniques and imagery, flat areas of sophisticated colors, graphic effects such as optical illusions and plays of light, montages that reverse perspective or create illusions of proximity, and directional movement used to create action, tension, or repose. Eclectic Modern, psychedelia. In the late 1960s, graphic design reflected the youth culture that challenged the values of the previous generation. It lied on the fringe of the eclectic modern movement happening, and was devised largely by self-taught artists who did not follow traditional design rules. Rather than trying to transmit a message as simply and quickly as possible through the design, the goal changed to try to engage the viewer for as long as possible. Vibrating colors were used, and typography became more difficult to discern. Postmodern England. The digital revolution opened up type design to more and more graphic designers, not just professional type designers. The English contribution to digital type has been immense. Some English type design became very experimental, bringing movement to the typography that lowered its readability. A variety of unconventional types are custom formed to reflect different issues of politics and culture.